What's up, everybody? This is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I want to do a review of the Ultimate Avengers, the movie. This is part one. There is a two-part series of this film. It's based off the comic book, The Ultimate Avengers, which I have to say, back in the day, I was a pretty big comic book guy. Not when I was a kid, but I actually got into it when I was in my 20s. I had about a decade where I was really into comic books, and I was collecting everything, and Ultimate Avengers was one of those comic book series. I've always been a Marvel fan. I've never really been big into DC. Even when I was a kid, I was really big into Marvel, and I was actually got lucky, and I was into it right when Ultimate Avengers kind of kicked off, and so they've told the Avengers story with some different characters, a different a way of looking at it from the comic books, and so when Avengers started getting big in the theater and all the cast of characters, they were like, well, let's bring this out, and because we're already doing a more traditional Avengers from the comic books movies, let's do one where the Ultimate Avengers, but we'll do that in animation. And I'm not a huge animation fan. There's very few animation films out there that I'll take the time to watch. Avengers being one of them. Anything with Marvel I'm going to watch just because you get away with a lot more when you do stuff in cartoons that you really can't do, or animation, whatever you want to call it. I like to call them my tunes. Than you would in a live action movie. So of course you have all the main people that you might start seeing more in the coming movies. Well, I guess kind of sort of they're starting to branch them all together. But in the Ultimate Avengers, you have Captain America, 60 Years in Ice. He's the Thought. He's a man from another time kind of thing. You have Black Widow. You have Iron Man begrudgingly involved in this, of course. You have Giant Man / Hank Pym's Ant-Man. You have Janet, his I think it is his wife in the comic book, but I think it's his girlfriend Janet Van Dyne, who is the Wasp in this. Incredible Hulk shows up, and of course he's like friend and foe because of Bruce Banner. They're doing more like angry, crazy Hulk that's involved in this, and so they have to battle him as well, not just the Earth coming to an end, because I think they're fighting the Chitauri, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who it is that they're fighting against in this. Thor is in here, of course, as well. So you have, like I said, all the main names that were from the original comic book, but like I said, taken viewed in a different way in some respects. One of the biggest things, it was like a big nowadays, guys. It doesn't seem that big of a deal. It's just like almost canon. Now it's almost like understood. But Nick Fury was an old white guy with like a white streak in his hair. He had like the brown hair and the white streak. He was like a old like commando. Like I think he came from the Howling Commandos or something. And he was like an old military guy. Well then, of course, the Nick Fury we all know, it's almost like you don't even know the old Nick Fury. It's like he doesn't even exist because they talk about him, drawing him like Samuel L. Jackson on purpose with the hopes of one day he would actually, if they ever did a movie with the Avengers, they would pick him as Nick Fury, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. But back when they did this, back in the early 2000s or whatever it was, Nick Fury wasn't associated with, or Samuel L. Jackson wasn't associated with Nick Fury anyway, and traditionally Nick Fury was the white guy with the patch and the white streak in his hair and all that, and they completely changed that around. And so now, like I said, it's Samuel L. Jackson basically is playing himself, playing Nick Fury, which is kind of crazy. But it's just, like I said, commonplace. And which I love Nick Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury. I've never thought that was a bad decision because it's different. It's a different thing. It's great. But the original Nick Fury wasn't that, so they changed it around for the Ultimate Avengers, and of course they moved everything around to accommodate to that story, which is fine. And of course, like I said, basically just like any other Avengers movie or any comic book, they have a story just to get everybody together and to fight the bad guys from something that's going to destroy the Earth. I mean, it's the same story every time. They just switch up some of the characters, switch up some of the villains, switch up some of the scenarios about how Earth's coming to an end, and then they just say, and we're spitting all that out into what we got now. The animation's great. It's a fantastic movie. The voice acting's awesome. Everybody's really good. They have like real stuff happening, which doesn't happen sometimes in the actual movie, because they don't have time to develop it. But there's like some girlfriend boyfriend angst and anger issues between Janet and Hank, and then there's like Captain America kind of and being like, you know, kind of like a third wheel with Janet thinking that he's like, you know, like she was into Steve Rogers, and Hank's jealous by that, and Hank's acting like real arrogant and just think he's the baddest mofo out there, and he's the best, you know, guy on the Avengers and all this. And there's a lot more, you know, layers that they can do in this, because they kind of just, and some of it's just they establish some of it, but also some of it's just, you know, you kind of have to think about the comic books, and they just kind of layer it up, and then they make a part two. Like I said, it kind of keeps that going. So they kind of just show respect to the film the film going fan, to say some of this stuff we're going to kind of, you know, bring you in on because you might not know, but some of this stuff you should know already. So they treat you intelligently enough to say, okay, so let's give you some pieces to kind of follow the story if you're brand new. But if you've been here for a while, you should know some of these arcs and stories and characters, so you're not going to need us to hold your hand too much, which I appreciate. And I'm sure there's some things that go over even my head, because I'm by far a hardcore Marvel comic book fan. Not anymore at all. I don't even read it anymore. But I do definitely appreciate it. But, you know, it is a very good movie. The animation's great. I love the Steve Rogers character. Natasha, you know, Black Widow, sorry, not Black Witch. She actually is Russian, surprisingly, in this. So that's nice. That's a difference. I don't like, and I know it's like, you know, you can take it for whatever it's worth, but when you change too much of a character, it just kind of irks me. Like, you know, her thing is she's from Russia. Like, you know, but Scarlett Johansson always been an American, you know, essentially an American. Like, she was a Russian spy. She doesn't have no Russian accent. I know we're having a movie coming out soon, but again, it just kind of takes away from who she is. It's like, I don't know. It's just, you know, there's certain characters you don't change too much because it takes away from who they are. I know this is a personal thing. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree, but I don't know. It just feels weird. I don't know. I don't like it. I know we're talking about not real characters, but you also have people who put, you know, years and years and years of thought and a devotion and an appreciation into a certain story or character, and then for you to kind of just throw it away as, you know, something we don't want to deal with, kind of like slaps those people in the face who make that commitment to stay with you for that journey. That's kind of how I feel about it. But anyways, guys, have you all seen the Ultimate Avengers, the movie? Have you all seen that? What's your thoughts on it? I think it's a very good a film. I like it. Again, the Thor character's great. I like what they do with Bruce Banner, Hulk in this. It was really good. The Giant Man on it actually kind of, you know, Hank Pym kind of takes it away with his just a complete arrogant piece of garbage kind of attitude, and just he's kind of like, you know, this really crappy to his, you know, like I said, I can't remember. I think it's just his girlfriend, Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, and you just kind of just like, what? But again, it's true to the comic, which I appreciate. I mean, that's kind of how it was. So I appreciate that. So anyways, guys, my review of the Ultimate Avengers, the movie, part 1. And I do have part 2, so I'll end up getting around to watching that and showing that off at a later date. So I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you all thought below. Have you seen the movie? Let's discuss it a little bit. What's your favorite Marvel movie that's out there? Live action or animation? So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.